Hello and welcome to your Broken Galaxy. Today we are going to be looking at the battle between Amedda and Jabba the Hutt. So, if you can't remember from the thumbnail, Amedda is a politician. He was the vice chair of the Senate during the prequels, and when the Republic became the Empire, he was made the Grand Visier under the Emperor. Everybody knows Jabba, so he needs no introduction. If you haven't seen one of these versus videos that I'm making yet, they're a bit different than my other content. They're really just to be listened to, not watched. This is the third fight on the channel, so here goes. Amedda is sent to Tatooine in order to have a conversation with Jabba. The Emperor has been wanting to push into Hutt Holdings, so he sent his boy Mas to handle the Slug Lord. At dinner, Jabba throws a frog at Mas, as one does in Hutt society, which he takes huge offense to. And Mas stands up and he says, "I'll not be treated like this. I'm the Grand Vizier of the Galactic Empire, and you're just a two-bit criminal slug." And Jabba is like, which I know all of you faithful viewers can speak Huttese, so you don't need a translation. But the translator droid speaks up on Jabba's behalf so Mas can understand. And he says, "His Excellency Lord Jabba says, shut up." So Mas is like, "This is outrageous. How dare you throw a frog at me and then tell me to shut up?" So Jabba starts rambling in Huttese again, and the droid says, "This frog is a delicacy. Amphibians are often delicious." And Mas, who is an amphibian himself, is like, "How dare you?" And Jabba goes, "Ho, ho, ho," then starts rambling again. Finally, after like 5 minutes of rambling, the droid says, "Jabba wonders if you would like it with more salt." And Mas squints his eyes in anger and says, "I should put some salt on you." Jabba stops laughing and nods to a Nikto in the back of the room, who quickly rushes out. He lurches his massive body off the throne and says something quietly to the translation droid. The Nikto comes back with a pair of boxing gloves and is followed by a Gamorrean with a comically large pair of boxing gloves. Hutt-sized boxing gloves. The droid raises its hands and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, aliens of all ages, Jabba the Hutt proudly brings to you the fight of the year." By this time, a couple of Gamorreans have started helping Jabba put on his massive boxing gloves, and Amedda, who is just completely bewildered here, says, "I don't know what is happening," to the Twi'lek slave girl who's wrapping his wrists. The droid continues, "Please place your bets with Master Fortuna. In the blue corner, we have the Grand Vizier of the Galactic Empire. In the red corner, we have the unstoppable, the undroppable, the undoubtedly untoppable Jabba the Hutt." And Jabba's throne room just fills with cheers. The droid continues, "This will be a 3-round fight of 5 minutes each. Should the contestants not have a knockout by the end of the 3rd round, it will be decided by our celebrity judge, Chef B.B. Rodriguez." A robot in the back stands up, waves to the crowd. Everybody, politely claps for him and everything. Mas is shoved into the center of the ring, and he is like, "What in the galaxy is happening here?" Because Mas has no idea what boxing is. It's not famous in the core or anything. Jabba slithers to the center, and they are right next to the translation droid, which says, "Mac, Desilogic. I want a clean fight. No eye gouges, no spearing one another with horns, and no low blows." Jabba rolls his eyes at the last rule, then puts both fists out. Mas screaming in protest, "Eye gouges? What is going on?" The Twi'lek help him by grabbing his arms and pushing them forward to touch gloves with Jabba, then lead him back to his corner. Suddenly, over the loudspeaker, you can hear the familiar voice of Fode coming through the internal PA. "This is gonna be one heck of a fight." Amedda screams, "Why?" Bede then repeated Fode's line in Huttese, and then added something to which Fode says, "That's right, I hear the odds are 30-1 against the visitors from the core." Fode and Bede are the guys from the Boon to Eve Classic, for all of you non-crazy fanatics that don't know their names. Okay, so the Boon to Eve Classic is the pod race that Anakin was in Episode 1, for all of you non-crazy fanatics that don't know the name of the race. Anyway, the droid raises its hand and brings it down, screaming, "Fight!" in Basic. Mas looks around in terror as the two Twi'leks push him out. Jabba is charging, well, as much of a charge as a giant slug monster could muster, right towards Amedda with a crazed look in his eye and screaming a very deep bellow. Mas half steps, half falls forward towards Jabba from the push from the Twi'lek assistants, if you can call him that, and Jabba uses his massive boxing gloves to grab Mas on both sides and just shovel him whole into his massive mouth. Foe's voice screams over the intercom, "It is all over!" As Bede was jabbering on in Hutties, Jabba throws his hands into the air, and Rodriguez walks over and raises his hand in a sign of victory. 2 days later, Jabba had to undergo a very painful surgery to have Mas's long, pointy horns removed from his stomach, but he is the clear victor and undefeated boxing champion of Tatooine. If you thought that was fun, I've got a lot of other Versus videos on this channel. Please take a look at the one on the screen now. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that garbage.